All right, good evening. I would like to welcome you all here tonight for the March 8th meeting of Lawrence County Council. I'll call this meeting to order at 5:30. We'll begin with an invocation by Vice Chairman Carroll, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. All those that are able to rise.
Pray with me, please. Lord, we do thank you for the rich many blessings you give us each day. We thank you for the rain that you're blessing us with now. And Lord, as we work through the business of Lawrence County and we make decisions, may those decisions be what is in the best interest of Lawrence County and its citizens and pleasing in your sight as well. In your name we pray. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again for coming and braving the weather. It was unexpected for most of us. We'll begin this meeting with an approval of the agenda. So I have a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Carroll, second by Mr. Rankin. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Here none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. Next, we have approval of the minutes. Tonight they include the public hearings from Clinton and Gray Court, as well as the regular session from February 22nd.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the Clinton public hearing meetings from February 15th, 2022.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the Clinton public hearing meeting. Are there any additions or deletions to those minutes? Here none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Do we have a motion to approve the the Gray Court public hearing on February 17th?
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of the Great Court public hearing meeting on redistricting on February 17th, 2020.
Motion by Ms. Anderson,
Second.
second by Mr. Carroll. Are there any additions or deletions to those minutes?
I do have one correction.
All right,
Mr. Chairman. In the comment section, the public comment section, it indicates Chairman Patterson called upon Mr. Crookshanks. It's actually myself, Vice Chairman Carroll. I don't believe you were at that particular meeting. And that is the only thing I saw.
Ms. Anderson, do you accept those amendments?
That's their correction.
All right. All right, all those in favor of approval of the minutes with the one correction from Vice Chairman Carroll, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Do I have a motion for approval of the regular session meetings minutes on February 22nd?
Motion to approve regular session of February 22nd for redistricting.
Second.
As a motion by Mr. Rankin, second by Ms. Clark. Are there any additions or deletions to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. I heard it. He said everything. All right, next we have an executive session matter on economic development. I'll need a motion to move into executive session.
Motion to move into executive session for an economic development matter.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Carroll, second by Ms. Clark. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. We will move into executive session for an economic development matter, and we will be right back with you. I'm going to ask Mr. Coleman from the LCDC to join us. right, the time is now 5:44 and the council will reconvene from executive session. Council met in executive session to discuss an economic development matter. No action was taken. We will proceed with our agenda. Up next is reports to the council. I'll call Ms. Stonell with Keep Orange County Beautiful. I believe she has a presentation for us.
Thank you, Chairman Patterson and council for allowing me a few minutes with you this evening. My name is Courtney Stonell. I am the Keep Orange County Beautiful Affiliate Coordinator. We are very close to becoming an official Keep America Beautiful affiliate. Great things are happening and have been happening over the past few months. I'm very excited to be a part of this success. I have given each of you, or in your packet, there should be a newsletter and a flyer. The newsletter for the Keep Orange County Beautiful. I have, and that has all details for all the upcoming events, including my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions, comments, or ideas. I'm here this evening to ask for your help and participation. In your packet, you'll see the Earth Day Countywide cleanup flyer. What I need from y'all is, I need each one of y'all to support the county's efforts we will have site leaders and designated supply pickup locations. We will have, we'll need your help in the startup places for these litter pickups by helping identify a designated location for the supplies to be handed out. Also, we will definitely need your help in the communication and helping spread this word across Lawrence County. I have spoke with the city of Lawrence and the city of Clinton and have gotten all of them on board. So within the cities, they will be doing their own separate cleanups. So I'm just kind of asking y'all to pick out locations and have site leaders in mind for where y'all would like to do cleanups on April the 22nd. The flyer that y'all have in hand is not the flyer that we are sending out to the public yet. That's just for y'all's information. So y'all will know, that's just kind of the preview of it. We will have a QR code for everybody to sign up and sign waivers and stuff for this volunteer event. I will be following up with each of you in the next couple of weeks, once I have the site and leaders in place, and then we can communicate more details. Do I have any questions?
Can you tell us about Saturday?
I can. Saturday, I will be at the River Fork Boat Ramp. I am working with Keep Greenwood County Beautiful and doing a huge Lake Greenwood cleanup. Last year, we had like 300 volunteers. This year, we are hoping to exceed that. I was on the news last night, everything, getting volunteers to come and help us clean up. So I think there's 3 other sites within Lawrence County. Like News Landing is going to be one of the sites as well. So that's the first cleanup, and then we'll focus on our Earth Day cleanup.
Fantastic. Are there any questions from any council members? Ms. Donnell. Go ahead. What time is the cleanup on the lake? 9 to 12.
Now you have 9 to 12.
Awesome. Mr. Trooper.
So we're now trying to coordinate all this. Rotary Club, I know, is going to be helping you on that.
Okay.
Friday, the 22nd is Friday, right?
Yes.
And that's the day we're going to be doing the cleanup, or?
So we're hoping we can encourage like businesses and people to help, kind of allow their people to go out and clean up during this time. But I know when we talked about the Rotary, if you want to do yours that Saturday, that's fine too. We just need to communicate about getting bags picked up and
I
stuff.
just don't know whether I'm going to let myself off.
So like I said, any day is a good day to pick up litter. We just pick Earth Day just because what a great way to celebrate Earth Day.
And that's the day you'll have the supplies and pick it up.
We'll have it that week before, and so if whoever's going to be the site leader at each location can come that week up and get their supply packet from me.
But you're going to have to pick up available. Is that right? So we pick it up, put it in bags, and leave it at a specific location that you know about, and then you
Yes,
pick
sir.
it up.
Yes, sir.
And
That's the
and
plan.
that will be on that day and not the next day.
Yes, sir.
Friday and not the
As
Saturday.
long as I know the sites that you're going to be picking up, and then we can coordinate with everyone else to get all these bags picked up. I know the sheriff's office will be helping a lot with getting bags picked up. We just need to know the location of where they need to pick them up and all that. You're welcome.
Any other questions? I just want to say thank you for all your hard work. I know you're getting in the groove of it and working well, and I've been excited to see the newsletter that's been coming out and getting informed, and look forward to working with you cleaning up some litter.
Got big things coming. Thank y'all.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, next, we'll move into old business. Are there any council members that have any new submissions for county boards, commissions, or committees? Hearing none from council members, I will call on Mr. Howard for some nominations for the local ATAX committee.
Good evening, council. I'm here for our yearly appointees for the Accommodations Tax Committee. Every year I come to you and ask for your blessing on these appointees for Accommodations Tax. This is the group that actually meet and have the opportunity to disperse the accommodation taxes that we receive from the state. There's a very stringent guideline on where these individuals must come from. They have to have backgrounds in restaurants, lodging, cultural, and we can have one at large. But those people are very hard to find because they have very busy schedules. So we do find those people with the help of Amanda Money and our Chamber of Commerce. So a lot of times ends up being the same folks from time to time. A lot of those are recurring, and we thank them very much for their dedication in this service. And these are the people that are appointed, or that you have appointed in the past. Some of these are new. You have the list in front of you. I will name them all. The first one we have here is Johnny Cheeks. He will be a new one. He is a restaurant owner for Taste of Home. We have Michael Hobby. He is our current chairman on the ATAX committee. He owns Moon Landing RV Park and restaurant as well. So he fits two of those industries and several more, honestly. Cultural, he's a very active person in the community. Bob Link, who serves on theater board, corral. We're actually using him as a cultural person. Kurt McLaughlin, who is manager at Comfort Suites in Clinton. Carrie Nyack, who owns Trotter's Restaurant in Clinton. Jody Prosser, who owns Barefoot Acres. She is on here as a attraction owner. It's also cultural, as it is a working farm. And we also have Jerry Three, who is a cultural and an attraction owner, or not owner, but liaison for Presbyterian College. These are the recommended people from the Chamber of Commerce, Parks and Rec, and also from some of the council members have put these names forward as well. And as a council as a whole, we'd like to have your blessing and your approval for these folks.
All right. Thank you for that, Andy. I always appreciate what you and the ATAX committee do, working on submitting for that funding. Do I have a motion on the table to approve the ATAX committee members as presented?
I'll move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Tribble, second by Ms. Clark. Is there any discussion on these nominations? Here none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approval, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Thank you, Andy, and thank you, committee members that are here tonight. Look forward to seeing what y'all bring to us this year. Thank y'all, council. All right, next we have public hearing on ordinance 914. This is the ordinance that will be adopting the new county council districts based on the 2020 census. I know there's some maps up front. This portion is open for the public. Anybody's welcome to come forward and speak. We will start, for those that signed up for public comments, we'll have public comments at the end, but if you want to speak on this specific topic, just step up to the mic and give your name and say your piece. The time is now 5:54, and I will open the floor for public hearing on ordinance 914 on the county council districts. All right, seeing no one, we will close the public hearing.
Are we moving on a particular draft? We have two drafts in our packet.
Right, there'll be, when we make this next motion, somebody will have to specify which map we're wanting to use. That's part of the ordinance. But I think there are, did you have both maps out there? Okay. Yeah, both maps were out for view for a number of discussion for sure. I'll be happy to take a motion on approval of ordinance 914 with a specified map.
But in that ordinance, we don't have a map per se in the blank. I think if we're gonna vote on we're gonna put a particular draft in there, whatever number it is.
Yes, ma'am. When the motion is
Everybody
made,
should know which draft you're looking at.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance 914 using map number 4.
I have a question.
all right, we have a
I want
motion on the table for approval of map number 4. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Mr. Rankin. I will now open the floor for discussions. Go ahead, Ms. Anderson.
I like the public to see the difference between map number 3 and map number 4. I don't think you can vote on nothing you don't know about. What's the difference between the two? There's a difference between the deviations. And I think they need to know the deviation.
And how, I would completely agree that the public needs to be fully aware. The maps are here presented for the public hearing that we had posted. I hope it was posted properly, I assume.
But I don't think, I know they know we were gonna vote on the map, but we have never, to my knowledge, and I've been here with 3 of them, brought 2 maps to the table. We always had the map that we was gonna bring before the council.
The only other person who's been here for that is the county attorney, so I'll let him speak on that.
We
I've
had
been
two, we
sleeping,
had
you
two,
trying to say something different.
we had two in 2010.
In 2010. 2010.
We chose, instead of choosing map 2, we chose map 3.
I don't remember that.
It's
But
in
I would
the- it's in the
prefer to
ordinance.
see it because I know it reflects the district that I'm in. And I would like to see it because I have a preference
Do we
between the
not have
two.
it?
If somebody's already come up with one preference, I want to know the preference.
I think that you have got the ability to put it on the screen.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The deviation that refers to is deviation in total population, is that right?
I believe that the difference, correct, between the districts, yes.
And so that means that from the largest to the smallest district, there's a 4.81 in, this is track 3.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's what deviation is referring to.
Correct.
It's a deviation between the largest district and the smallest district.
Correct. Which must be lower than 10.
And I think that the way we've done this thing is that District 1, which is Kemp's district, is actually the smallest starting out with the idea that it's going to actually grow the fastest over time. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the idea.
The idea is not what's going to grow. The idea is what the census data stated for the census for 2020. That's the only thing we're operating with is the numbers that were sent to us. Not whether we grow here, there, or anywhere. It's the numbers
So
that
actually,
were sent to us and what we're going to do with the numbers.
draft 4 that's been brought up, and map 3 for that matter, you mentioned District 1, the deviation is actually in the positive for that district, not in the negative on both maps.
Right.
Meaning that it's larger than the average.
In the median, correct? That's correct. And keeping in mind too, as these were done, I'll let the county attorney speak more to the actual voting acts and the year they were passed. But we do have requirements that we have to stay in, as far as minority districts, in the county. I believe 2 is where we're at and where we must stay. And actually, both maps accomplish that, one in a higher percentage than the other, but they do both accomplish that requirement from the state, in that aspect.
And just to speak of that, it complies with the 65 Voting Rights Act. The 2 majority minority districts were both over 51%. Now, the deviation in map 4, from the high to the low, is 9.35 versus the 4.81 in number 3. However, the majority minority percentages in map 3 are lower than 51%, 50.11 and 50.23. We were able to increase the majority minority numbers in districts 3 and 6 in map 4, which was submitted to the state, and the statistical sheet you see there is what was returned. Those are their statistics that we have been reviewing.
So the state's seen that for it. So
Yes.
And that's the proposal we're voting on, Mr. Chairman.
that's the motion on the table. Yes.
And just to be clear, I don't want to beat this horse to death. That the motion that we're voting for has a higher evap for 2 majority minority districts. The one that we're voting on has a higher percentage of Black voting age population, those 2 districts.
That is the way I understand.
That's the vote, that's the motion that's on the table.
Correct.
But the motion that's on the tape also is that the maps were looked at by the demographers from the Department of Revenue, and they sent back a map, and I believe that's the map we should go with, and it's lower, it's 50.11%, but I think that is a map that was looked at without having any kind of connotations to it. They went through the map, looked at the numbers, come up with the numbers. Because first, what we did, we ordered the maps from the state, and we played around with the maps. But we could never get the Black districts up to 50%. We sent the information back to the state and requested that where can you bring these districts up? They went through the numbers and came up with the 2 districts. And I think that's the 2 districts that we need to go with, and not making any kind of variances from what they sent. And the one that they sent is the one, draft 3, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct, Ms. Anderson. And what we did is took theirs to see if we could improve on it, which we did, and submitted it back to them for review, as they did the first time for us. And that's when they came back and said, here's your numbers.
They did not say here's your number. These are the numbers we come up with.
No,
Or
ma'am.
somebody else
No, ma'am.
come up with.
No, ma'am, these are their numbers.
Those are the numbers that they went on and agreed with that percent, but those that come from the state is the 50.11%. Is that the one that they said?
No, ma'am. The second one on 4, that's what the state sent us, which is 51.60. We submitted it for their review, as we should have, as we did the first time.
But that was not the first one that they sent.
No, ma'am, this was the second
Okay,
one
but-
that we improved on and asked their blessings on, and to give us the
But what-
numbers.
I don't agree what was done in the movement of those numbers. I believe we should stay with the one that the state sent first, with the percentage that's there with 50.11%.
Since this mainly affects your district and Ms. Clark's district, if she would like to, she does not have to by any means, but I'd like to give Ms. Clark the opportunity to comment on the adjustments on District 3.
From looking at map 3 and 4, I agree with Ms. Anderson to a certain extent where this map, graph 3, that I thought that's what we were going with.
So map 3 is the map you would prefer?
Pretty much, because that's the map that I looked at and was going by.
All right.
If this map 3, is map 3 from the state?
The states review both of these maps, is my understanding. I would definitely refer to staff.
Map 3 is a reconfiguration of the maps we initially sent to the state. That they came back with changes to get us to 50% on both districts. We then reconfigured what they had to improve those numbers and submitted it back to the state for their review. And that's map 4, which increased the numbers both in your district and in Ms. Anderson's district.
But it's my thought pattern that we didn't need to change those numbers. I think those numbers, I mean, the way it was, I don't want to call it gerrymandering. I want to call it moving.
We were improving what we were trying to do.
But at the beginning, we couldn't even come up with the 50%. They showed us a way, and I think we need to grow on what was said. I think we don't have any connotations or anybody's emotional feeling involved in it. I think they went and looked at the numbers and tried to come up with the district they need to come up with, and they don't have the end. I'm lost for the word that I want to use, but they don't have a fight in the dog fight.
They use the same shape files
I know,
that
but
we use.
yeah,
It's exactly the same.
yeah. But
That's how
when
they
we
came
used
up
them
with the
first,
number.
we could not come up with 50%. So they showed us how to come up with 50%. Then we take whatever they had and we call ourselves manipulating what they sent us. And I don't know if you call it
Ms.
to make
Anderson,
it
I
better.
take exception to the using the word manipulation. We try to improve.
Well, you call yourself trying to improve it. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I just
But
manipulation.
I don't
sounds
believe
like
the
we're trying to do
improvement, I don't believe the improvement is for the betterment of the county.
Okay.
And it's not in the betterment of my district, and
Nor
I'm
my,
speaking of my district.
nor my district. If we take the,
Ms. Clark, your district, I
And
don't,
I respectfully disagree. The numbers have already increased in both of your districts.
I said they have increased, but yeah, but the variance, I really think the variance and the numbers are totally manipulative to a certain extent. And I would prefer, if they all.
all right, let's see if we can come to a conclusion on this.
Okay.
I will like to state that I will disagree because I'm looking at numbers and honestly, the two districts that we're trying to accommodate are 3 and 6 so that we can maintain our legal, our legal precedent on the Voting Rights Act. So it's what we're required to do. And when I look at map 3, we're at 50.23 in District 3 and 50.11 in District 6. Map 4 that was gone, that went off of the state's map, got you up to 51.36 and 51.60, and then that would resubmit to the state for their review. However, y'all's two District 3 and District 6 are the two that are affected by what was trying to be done. And so if y'all are happy with map 3, and that's what y'all desire, I will gladly entertain a motion to amend the motion on the table to go with map 3 instead of map 4, if that is what you desire to do.
I think we should go with draft 3, but I don't know if you can amend that motion.
Absolutely, you amend the motion.
That's what you're saying.
You can amend the motion or Mr. Carroll can withdraw the motion.
Yes, I think that. I don't amend it just like I changed from this.
You would amend.
That's how you amend the motion. That works.
You would amend, just amend the
Then you
map
add
number.
to it.
You hit amend the map number.
So the reason that I chose map 4 was specifically to ensure that District 3 and 6 were fairly represented, the highest number possible. I don't represent those two districts, so I'm not trying to step over your will. I will be happy to withdraw my motion based on that, but my intent with that was to get the map that had the highest number for your district. So, with that being said, I'll withdraw my motion.
Motion on the table has been withdrawn. So the floor is now open for a motion for third and final reading of ordinance 914.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
this, redistricting draft 3 that we got in the agenda tonight, this is the latest.
Next to latest, that was 4 is the latest. Yeah.
Fourth latest. This is.
Would anybody like to make a motion?
I move that based on the 2020 census information and the drawing of the new lines for Lawrence County, that we go with the redistricting plan that's stated in our packet, with the, as draft number 3.
Need you to, just to be clear in this motion, you are making a motion for third and final reading of ordinance 914 to include on final approval map 3. Is that right? Okay. So the motion on the table from Ms. Anderson is a motion to approve third and final reading of ordinance 914 with the approval of map number 3 as submitted in your packet. Okay.
Yeah, basically, I'm gonna read the line that each new district set forth and depicted on map draft number 3 as outlined.
All right, that is the motion, and
Second.
second by Mrs. Clark. Is there any further discussion on the third and final reading of ordinance number 914?
Mr. Chairman, yes, sir. Just looking at the two maps, map 3, map 4, I understand the input from both the councilwomen on my left and right. But just looking at my district, some of the people that this district has always represented would be cut out in map 3 compared to map 4, which I actually prefer, because there are a lot of people that have always been represented in District 2 with the makeup of map 4 that would be cut out if we did map 3. So I am still in favor of adopting draft 4. And if I need to make a motion for that, I will.
Well, but there's another motion on the table, and that was the previous motion. The motion on the table is to approve ordinance 914 with map number 3. We have, I will call for the vote. All those in favor of approving ordinance 914 on third and final reading, please raise your right hand.
Map number 3.
Map number
Draft
3.
number 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Draft number 3.
Map number 3, yes, sir. All those opposed? The motion passes 4-0 with Councilman Carroll, Rankin, and Patterson in opposition. Did I say that right?
4-3. I think you said 4-0.
I apologize. The motion passes 4-3 with Councilman Carroll, Rankin, and Patterson in opposition. Thank you. All right, next we will move along into new business. I'll call on Andy Howard first and let you introduce a few folks for us with the Trails Association.
All right, I'd like to introduce Bud Marson, and Bob Bryant. They're going to talk to you tonight about our trail we have at the Lawrence County Park and some unique fauna and flora we got out there. And Bob Bryant has done some unique work in this subject matter.
Dr. Bryant.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I would like to turn it over to Dr. Bryant, who is the distinguished professor of wisdom and philosophy at Presbyterian College. He's done some work on this particular plan that I think you're going to find very interesting, and I think will make a deep addition to the trail at the county park.
Thank you, Andy and Bud, and good evening, Chairman Patterson and members of council. Thank you so much for entertaining this proposal from the Lawrence County Trails Association. I'm bringing you good news. There are a lot of unique things about our county and a lot of beautiful things about our county. And this is just one of them. We have in our presence a very rare azalea flower. The May white azalea flower was just discovered in 1999 by a couple of botanists who were poking around in the woods on our side of Columbia. And they found a beautiful white azalea that was magnificently fragrant and was white and had a yellow center. And they realized they'd never seen an azalea like that before. And so they looked and they took some samples and they did their research and they found out, lo and behold, there is no other azalea like it. They came back in 2000 and Charles Horn, who's a biologist at Newberry College, got involved. He's kind of a local resident expert. And lo and behold, they were following the azalea trail, if you will, looking to see where they might find it. In 2003, Dr. Horn began his personal search using resources and things from Newberry College. And he found some in Newberry County. He found them along the Henry River. And so as he followed up the river, he found even more up in Lawrence County. He kept following the trail, if you will, up the river. He found even more, not more, but found some in Union County. And so it turns out after 15 years of research now that the prevalent location of this rare azalea is right here in our county. And there are about 2,000, they're estimating maybe as high as 3,000 remaining plants in the state of South Carolina. This news, as it was published, launched a kind of something of a botanist heyday where botanists in other areas of the country have come to search. And so they're searching in Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, all around us, trying to find, and have been searching now for a number of years, and still no one has yet found the species outside of our area. This flower loves woodlands like we have right here. It likes mature forest, it likes pine, it likes stream beds. And so we have a wonderful opportunity to put the name of this new azalea right here in Lawrence County and anchor it ourselves. The opportunity here to put the May white azalea name on this trail that Andy and crew have so masterfully done at our wonderful Lawrence County park would be a wonderful advantage for us as a community. It would certainly be an attractive piece for people who like flowers, but even more just for our own education benefit and a chance to celebrate this uniqueness that we have biologically speaking here in Lawrence County. We have some money that we've received through some good work of our illustrious director, Dr. Bud Marchant, and Duke Power has provided graciously a grant of $4,200. So we have some funds to work with that would help us put up signage to help provide also some education. And of course, the departments of biology involved in Presbyterian College would need to be involved in helping to propagate the plant, to help it grow and oversee successful transplanting and that sort of thing. So it's a wonderful thing to celebrate for us. And there are other things that I can tell you, but that probably gives you an idea. You have in your packet the handout that I brought. It gives you at least a picture of it. And you'll find the Conservation Alliance of the state, some other pictures, and it's a beautiful flower. I'm open for questions.
Wonderful. Thank you for all that information. It's amazing that there's a particular plant that only grows here and right around us. It's amazing just the thought of that. I do want to thank you and Mr. Martin's hard work on the Trails Association. I've had the pleasure to attend some of your meetings, and I appreciate all the great things y'all do in Lawrence County. Before I call for a motion, does anybody have any questions or anything they'd like to say related to this resolution? All right, hearing none, I'll call for a motion to approve resolution 2022-11C. To approve the request of Lawrence County Trails Association naming the May White Azalea Trail out at the Lawrence County Park.
To approve.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Crowell and a second by Ms. Anderson. Is there any further discussion? I'll now
I
call.
was on, listening at ETV the other night, and it's a Azalea Festival in North Carolina.
There are Azalea festivals all over, and one day perhaps we can have a May White Azalea Festival right here in Lawrence County.
That would be fantastic. That being said, I'll now call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you so much.
Thank you all so much.
All right. Next, I'll call Ms. Allen.
Hello. Chairman and Council, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. So I'm seeking the council's approval to enter into a single contract for the Prisma Health contract for post-accident drug and or alcohol screening after hours for Lawrence County employees. So we as Lawrence County have had a difficult time trying to find facilities that will accommodate us after hours because of the employees working in later shifts in the evenings. So the sheriff's office, the sheriff's department, through the work of Captain Coates, has executed a contract with Prisma for after hours post-accident drug screening and or alcohol, which satisfies the need for that one department. But Prisma has now offered Lawrence County that we could do as the sheriff's office is doing the after hours testing. They're going to put everything under one contract for all of Lawrence County organization as a whole. And I'm here to give recommendation for the adoption of expanding the sheriff's department's Prisma contract to cover the Lawrence County organization as a whole. That would fall under the risk management department. And it's going to be for going forward. And if there's any issues, the risk management department would handle it.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your due diligence and looking into that. And as always, to all employees who work hard to save us as taxpayers money every day. This is a great proposal. Are there any questions of Ms. Allen?
So the only cost of the county, not for the contract itself, would be when we use it based on the fees that we negotiated in the contract?
That's correct.
Are there any other questions?
If a county employee has an accident, he takes the drug and alcohol, is that right?
Yes, sir. I'll let Ms. Allen expand on the protocol if you would like to.
Right, so the county employee handbook states that if it's a county vehicle and if there's an accident involved in the county during the use of the county vehicle, you're required to have a post-accident drug screen and or alcohol testing. And it needs to be done within 4 to 8 hours of the accident. So after hours, when it's after 5 or 6 o'clock, it's hard for you to do that unless you go to the emergency room. So this is part of the negotiation of the contract is these fees, it's a smaller set fee. So you're able to save money for the county. So it's a negotiated fee and it's a set fee.
May I ask, if the test comes back positive that they were on some sort of substance, the county would still have to pay for it?
That would be a personnel matter that we would take on a case-by-case basis. I wouldn't want to speculate the results of that test because there could be outlying causes for those results that come in, but we would handle that on a case-by-case personnel matter basis.
You as the county administrator
Correct.
would handle that? Okay.
Yes, sir. And then on the last page there, Luke, it does talk about there's a positive result. They do additional testing. That's why the range on the front is 37 to 110, because that will result in the additional testing from a positive test.
I got you. Okay.
And then, of course, the personnel matter will be handled internally.
And to add some clarity to it, if speaking in theoretics here, if somebody were on one type of medication that would send up a positive for some illegal substance, where they would need additional testing to get clarification if it was that illegal substance or their prescribed medication, for example. So that's why it would be handled on a case-by-case basis as a personnel matter. All right, well, do I have a motion to allow the county administrator to enter into a contract with Prisma Health for blood alcohol testing?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Carroll, and a second by Mr. Youngs. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the motion. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. And I would like to publicly thank Ms. Allen for all her hard work. She's definitely reduced the liability on the county and continues every day to improve our shortfalls. And we appreciate all that she does for us. All right, next I will call on Mr. Coleman. We will first read a resolution for a new project, followed by a first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Council. For you tonight is Project Trapezoid. It's an industrial project we've been working on that will result in $257 million capital investment in Lawrence County and 549 new full-time jobs.
That is fantastic. All right.
I'll be glad to answer questions.
All right, do we have a motion for the resolution 2022-9C?
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of resolution 2022-9C, project traffic program.
All right, we have a motion for the resolution. Second by Mr. Carroll. Is there any further discussion or any questions? And then I'll call for the vote on the resolution to enter into a FILO. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Thank you. And next up is the subsequent ordinance that outlines that FILO. So do I have a motion for first reading on ordinance 916, the FILO agreement with Project Trapezoid?
Motion to approve first reading of ordinance 916, project Trapezoid.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rankin and a second by Ms. Clark. Is there any discussion on first reading of the ordinance? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. We're always excited about new industry growth, and 257 million and 549 jobs is always something to celebrate. We appreciate the LCDC and everyone's hard work. We had a hand in working on bringing this industry to Laurens County. All right, next we will move into public comments. Up first, we have Ms. Nancy Garrison.
Thank y'all for your time tonight. I come to you tonight with my concerns of the large development called Urban Meadows. I visited, I don't know much about this process, so I'm trying to learn. I come to the planning commission a few weeks ago and they said, you know, part of ordinances is coming to the county councils as far as ordinance goes. And so I just want to share some of my concerns with y'all tonight and kind of ask about what ordinances and stuff like that will possibly be put in place. This development is proposed off of Happy Valley and Durbin Road. I finally found today on the planning commission site the proposal for this, which was done September 29th of 2020. It proposed basically plus or minus 304 acres and approximately 941 lots and 136 townhomes were proposed and approved in that area. Now, I do have a little confusion about that because part of the property did not actually sell that all this was proposed on. A portion of it that adjoins my land didn't actually sell till September 23rd of 2021. So I'm not exactly sure if the full proposal of this was accepted or just the portion that was mainly off of Happy Valley. So I'm trying to get answers. I guess I'm going to have to keep digging to find out the answers to some of those. But my first concerns is for community. and what it's gonna do to the community and our infrastructure that's not there to support such a large development. The community needs to know the plan and, how that's gonna impact our community. And, what are the plans going forward to help with the infrastructure? Because not only do we have this large development off of Durban, but there's another one, I guess it would be in Greenville County, because it's closer into Fountain Inn, off the same road, Durban Road, which all runs into 418. So the amount of traffic that this is gonna accumulate from this amount of homes. So that's a top concern, for our community and for our infrastructure that we don't have in place. And even, I think I mentioned at the commission that Happy Valley is not even large enough for 2 cars to pass each other, which I think they said that the developer was gonna widen the road for that. But like I said, just a lot of concerns for our small town communities and what this amount of large development is doing to our small town communities. And I'm not here trying to stop growth. But the amount is what is so concerning too. But now I want to talk to you how it personally impacts me as a taxpayer of Laurens County. I've built a business from our farm. Our farm was established in the late 60s. My husband owned it previously, and when we married, I've been there for 30 years now, building a business with our farm. I'm a professional barrel racer. Don't know if any of y'all know what that is. But it has become quite a large sport. I've traveled all different states in the United States, go Oklahoma, many different places, a member of all kind of different associations. And so it's become quite a large business for me with my horses. I wrote notes down, y'all bear with me just a little bit. And how this has impacted me so far in my business. So this proposal, I don't know if it can be brought up or not, you've already shut your computer down, but of how this adjoins my property. And I did look up in codes, and I did think there's only a 30-foot buffer. So this 30-foot buffer along our fence line, down beside my barn, down beside my arena, where I train. And how I've already been negatively impacted is when they started clearing the timber. Just a quick story. I had a vet that I had a plan for months before they ever started clearing. I had to call the construction company 4 different times to ask them. I started on Monday, he was coming on Wednesday. I started on Monday calling them, asking them, could they just move, because I couldn't have this was a very prominent vet coming out of Aiken to do lameness exams of my horses. And, could they move? It took me till almost noon the day he was there as we were trying to do exams. And after I just about got run over by one of my horses because of the trees coming crashing down, that the guy did finally get them to move to a different part of the property. It's also caused me not to be able to train during this time, just while trees were coming down. So the next thing, we're gonna end up where they're grading the land and how that impacts me. Then we're gonna be talking about building. And then once you talk about building and residents moving in, how am I gonna be, how am me and my farm, our animals gonna be protected? What ordinances are in place to stop people, children from, and what liability do I have as far as a farm owner? Because these are not just, these are very expensive years of training horses that I have on my property. And we do have a few cattle too. What's going to stop people from that community mess with stuff on my farm? What kind of ordinances are in places when you have large developments going in next to a rural farm that's been there since the late 60s? So that's my questions to y'all. What can be done? I have a 30-foot buffer and that's it. And I do want y'all to know that, of course, I didn't know this land was coming up for sale. There was no for sale sign on this land when this happened. But when I did find out that it was under contract, I made contact with the realtor that was handling this sale of this land and asked, you know, if this contract went through, would this construction company offer to sell me a buffer? I mean, you know, I wanted more room between my fence line and this community coming in if it possibly was gonna come in. I never got a response, you know, so it's not that I didn't make some effort before this point, you know, to get a buffer as far as my property and what my business that I've built for all these years and how negatively it impacts me. And like I said, a great negative impact on our community as far as our infrastructure. I mean, that's a lot of homes and then, you know, and a lot of cars and, you know, what's going to be done about that kind of stuff. So I come to y'all with questions and so that you can be thinking about what could possibly be done as far as ordinances.
All righty, thank you for that information. I'm gonna ask one question of the Public Works Director. Can you tell us what phase this, it was approved back in 2020. Are they in the permanent phase? Do you happen to know what phase this project's in?
They are in the construction phase. Yeah, this particular project was handled by the previous county administrator, but they are in the construction phase, grading and building.
Okay, so they were on that phase on the first portion that they purchased, but are they on that phase or has there been approval for the second purchase that they just finished? I mean, they actually signed their contract. I mean, their contract went through September of 2021.
I would have to pull those plans and see what was approved initially.
We would have to look at that.
It shows quite on the website, on the Planning Commission website, it shows the whole elaborate thing. But when it showed that, the land directly beside me at that point was still under contract and they had not purchased it at that time.
Now, I will say that happens often. There was a meeting today for a developer that they submitted a plan, got approved by the Planning Commission, and then the developer wasn't able to complete the deal and it's back on the drawing board. So this is not uncommon for a subdivision plan to be approved prior to a contract closing on property, because you wouldn't spend that money on a piece of property if you didn't know you could do what you wanted to do on it.
Right.
To answer that question, I'm afraid I'll have bad news on this particular one, especially being so far along in the process it's in. I don't know that there is a way to stop that one. There are no ordinances that exist to stop it at this point. I can't think of any, to be honest with you.
About the amount of room between where a house can be and your fence line. I mean, and like.
I mean, that could be changed, but that one's already been approved, so it would be grandfathered. We could change it to 200 feet tomorrow, but it would not change that one, because once they're approved, unless they alter their plans, they're grandfathered in. So that's what I'm, even like I said, even if we change something tomorrow, and we have, since that one was approved, we have updated our subdivisions ordinance to address issues. And I don't know the back buffer. I know the front line ones because we've been dealing with that lately. I don't know the side buffers off the top of my head to be able to tell you what they are.
Is there any, I mean, like, so there's not, basically there's nothing that you're saying that I can do, that I have a subdivision coming 30 foot off my fence line with the animals in control and people and my liability as far as, you know.
Well, there's definitely laws on the books for trespassing and aggravating animals. I mean, the sheriff's office, because you're in the county, I assume it's not the city. Okay. There are definitely ordinances on the books and state statutes and everything else that would address that portion of your concern. But as far as the 30 feet buffer, unless the contractor agreed to sell you a strip of land, there's not much at this level now, unfortunately, that we would be able to do. And I promise you, I grew up on about 2,500 acres on a farm, and it burns me every time I see a whole family farm sold off for a subdivision.
But this was used for forestry. This one was. It was used for forestry, and you know, I've got to know the lady that actually sold it, and it was one of those deals where she really didn't want to. Her brother did. Was it going to cause family conflict not to? And if I'd known that, like I said, this, and even speaking with her, if she had known, you know, that maybe before it was in contract, I could have worked something out with her. You know, but I had no way of knowing because, like I said, there was never a for sale sign on that property. I guess they just handled it through a realtor and, you know, that kind of thing. There was not placed there to be able to go forward. So what about the sort of the infrastructure and stuff like that. What plans are going forward
So
to?
that would have been addressed at the time of the presentation, and I will say actually, that had been a different planning commission back then, because it changed in 2021.
I read through it, so, but I just didn't really get any direct.
But they're very, and Dale's at every meeting attested this, but they're very punctual at this level of asking about, road, traffic studies that they require. I mean, almost everyone lately I've been seeing approved is having to do some sort of upgrade to the roads. Because most of them are going in rural areas back on, 19-foot county roads that weren't made for that. And I think you mentioned Happy Valley, they are supposed to be widening it. I have to look at sure that, but those requirements are being asked of them. As a matter of fact, they turned one that was one to come next week. They turned it away waiting on that traffic study because they didn't have all their information yet. So it is something that the planning commission is very punctual on requesting and evaluating.
And are y'all making these developments do any kind of like, I think I talked with him this past week, and like some kind of buffer in the respect of plant or, or like sometimes they build mounds and different stuff to, like the Leland cypresses.
Right, there's different options for either evergreen buffer or a mounted buffer, like you mentioned. In some instances, there's a fence with a shield on it. I mean, there's several different options. I believe that the different groups, depending on what they would do and would have options to pick from. I cannot speak for that one in particular without pulling the documents as to what they chose to do, but there are requirements for a buffer. And buffer doesn't mean just grass. It usually means an evergreen, a berm, a fence, something of some sorts to protect the adjoining property.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, all of that information is public information for those meetings, so plans and what was approved and all you gotta do is ask for
Well, I've been looking and researching and I've
it.
called.
It may not be online, but you can ask for those documents. So those are public documents.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But,
And the ordinance that was in place in 2020 and the ordinance is in place now are all public documents. So
okay.
you can make a freedom of information request and they'll be furnished.
Who owns that 30-foot buffer? The developer?
I mean,
So if you had, how far is it? I mean, it's a 500 foot between, what I'm saying is if you could get to the edge of that 30-foot buffer, if you so wanted to, and put up some kind of security fence or something like that, would they let you do that?
I don't know, we have electric fence already.
Yeah, that's for your horses, but on that 30, you go past that 30-foot buffer on that 30-foot line. What they got in trees that's supposed to act as a buffer, just.
There's very few trees left. They took all the pines out. There's some hardwoods, very few hardwoods left. I mean, you can see straight through it, and very few hardwoods left.
Without looking, they would most likely have to plant new evergreens, like leading cypresses or something.
Are they going to, or is that just?
I would have to pull it. It would be in the approved plan. I'd have to look at it.
It's on the, I mean, like I pulled this up today, trying to find out more about it and how, I mean, but you can see our fence line. I mean, the back of the houses are just, I don't even look like there's 30 foot. I mean, it just is right along our fence line. And then it comes right down beside our arena, where I train and all that kind of stuff. So, that's how it just is negatively impacted. And the sad part is I didn't even realize that the original farm that they started on had sold, because it's back off of, Durban. I don't go back on Happy Valley or anything. I'm just up and down Durban. So, I mean, I didn't even know that was happening until after it already happened. So, I didn't have any knowledge of it, even just of it starting until later on, when clearings, rumors around Fountain Inn started going around of the old deal farm sold,
And that's one of those things here in Lawrence County, we have no zoning.
I know.
So they can put a subdivision there, they can put a junkyard there, they can put a water park there. And a lot of people come to Lawrence because we have no zoning, and they do have their freedom to do what they so choose.
So I'm free to put as much chicken litter along my line as I want to too.
You are, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely, that's the benefit of no zoning.
You're right,
But it also has its negative impacts, and this is, unfortunately, a result of one of those.
All right. Okay, well, thank you for listening.
I do appreciate you coming to speak, and you can work with, Mr. Satterfield, he can help you with the Freedom of Information Act if you want to outline what you need to see, and go over to the county attorney, and they'll get that information for you.
Yeah, I definitely would like to, because if there's any way I can work with this developer, I would love to, but, I didn't have much success, when I called previously before the contract actually went through. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you for speaking. All right, up next, Reverend Kennedy.
Well, thank you, Brother Chairman, and other council members. Brother Sam over there and Brother Dale behind. I want to say thank you for this morning. But first, I want the council to be very aware. Voter rights. Martin Luther King said this: America has never given us anything. Everything we got, we had to fight. Tonight, I want us to be reminded of Bloody Sunday, this past Sunday. Even John Lewis said he got into some good trouble. His head was cracked, his skull was cracked. But fighting for the right to vote. Across the nation, voting rights are under attack. And I want to compliment Ms. Anderson, Reverend Clark, for standing up tonight. Hallelujah up there. But I also want to compliment the council for putting forth a good effort, and especially those of you who voted with me tonight. I just want to say thank you. Thank you, and I'm very grateful, and I want to compliment the council tonight. Hallelujah up there.
Hallelujah up there. Thank you, Reverend Kennedy. It's a pleasure as always. Next, we have Gregory Fielder. Mr. Fielder.
Chairman, council, thank you. In fact, I had a little problem, went to the wrong side when I first came. But I have a stern reminder which way to enter. Came around where the statute is. And being a veteran, I'm so used to paying homage to great generals. That's not what I'm here to talk about. As far as district is concerned, I personally don't have a big concern, except in those districts, there be business districts as representative of the council in general. And in particular, in my district, I've come to the council before to let council know that I was considering building something on my property. I'm acutely aware that landowners have certain rights. However, I wish to work in harmony with the council to put something there that is suitable for us. So as this weather kind of dries up, I intend to start clearing it, forming the contour of the property, and making plans to put something more permanent. Because I know that my property, though it's in the county, is in a pretty prominent place that gets a lot of attention. So I'm asking specifically for the council again to assign somebody with me where we can sit down and let them know about the plans that I'm considering before I incur any costs. Because once I incur costs, whether it be the initial cost, my point is that I would love to talk it over with someone on council to see if we would put something that we both can agree on.
I hate to put our county administrator on the spot, but I would love to sit down and have that conversation with you too, but definitely want to have the administrator there to guide, to direct you to the right person internally that would work best with you. I would ask get with you and get some dates from you to relay to council, so those who would like to come join us would have that opportunity. So, if you'll, I got a phone number,
I've still got Mr. Phillips.
Okay.
We work well
Okay,
together. I
great.
still have his number.
well, I'll ask that, either you or Melissa get with him and come up with a few dates that work best for you, and then we'll work that into our schedule and meet with you, and I look forward to hearing good things.
All right, thanks to the council.
Thank you, it's a pleasure. All right, next we'll move into county council comments. I'll start on my right, Ms. Clark.
No comment.
All right, Mr. Critter.
None tonight, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Rankin.
That's fine.
Yeah. Ms. Anderson.
I hate to break the chain. But I will. Well, this month is winter month, you know. So we have a lot of strong women in the county, and we appreciate them all. And I know they affect all of our lives. And the first woman that affects most of our lives is our mother. And she's our first teacher, so I want you all to make sure you all do something nice or look back and see how some female have had an impact on you. But on last Monday, I also attended a meeting over in Greenwood at Upper Savannah. And they gave us some statistical data that I really felt really bad about for Lawrence County. Out of all the traffic fatalities in this region, Lawrence County is the highest. Every year, we're in double digits of fatalities in this county. I don't know how we can improve that, but I wish that we would. Already, and it's just March, the 8th. And we've already had 6 fatalities here in Lawrence County. And those deaths affect all of us in some form or fashion, because I'm quite sure some of us have been touched by some of those individuals that have passed away. And I don't know, I know I hear about it's the roads, I hear about it, this and that, but I wish we as a county can do whatever we can to improve the quality of life to the extent that we care about the lives of those individuals. And when we see people maybe doing some things that are wrong, and we try to just say, you know, you need to take it easy. I'm thinking most of them have something to do with speed. Most of them have something to do with moving out of your lane. But whatever we can do, I wish we would try to improve that. And they're not little. Over the last 5 years, there's been 20+ people each year. And I wish we could do something about that. And I just ask you all to pray for peace for Ukraine and for the world. Because I know all of us gonna suffer from, all of us are attached in some form or fashion. And I don't know why we do not understand it. When something hurts me, it's gonna hurt someone else eventually. And with the hurting of the Ukraine people, it's gonna hurt people here with the gas prices and the food prices. No man is an island, and we do not live alone. And we're gonna have to learn how to live together. And when we live together, we can do things better. I'm not gonna preach anymore, but it's just really, thank you.
I appreciate that, Ms. Anderson.
Nothing there.
All right. I'll just say I'd like to, Ms. Anderson, especially about the women. It is a pleasure to serve with 2 strong women here on council, and I thank you both for all that you do for your constituents in this county. Lots of great things going on in Lawrence County. You heard from the Trail Association. It was great to hear from Ms. Stonell on the beautification efforts, and I look forward to seeing us improve and get some of this litter off our roads and try to instill a sense of community pride amongst the residents of the county so that we can see less and less of that. One reminder I do have, you'll see an email come out. The Planning Commission has requested the presence of council for some comments. So, you know, we issued a moratorium on the RV ordinance a while back, and they're visiting that as we speak. So we'll have it'll basically be a call full committee of council, and we will do that at next Tuesday, right after the planning commission meeting. Those who are able to attend, it would be appreciated, mainly to give our feedback. They just want to hear back feedback from council on the RV ordinances, and I'm sure they'll have other questions for us, but we'll hold an official council committee meeting next Tuesday, immediately following the planning commission meeting, to give input on the RV ordinance. And this Thursday, and I do not have the time right off the top of my head, but it is the Spotlight on Agriculture in Clinton. It starts at 5 o'clock. Sorry. Oh, it starts at 5, dinner at 6. Is that right? Okay.
Exhibits at 5.
Right. So doors open at 5, eat at 6. Reach out to the Clemson Extension Office, which is right here across from the LaurensCounty Advertiser. Get your tickets. It is always a fun event. I look forward to it every year. They award the agricultural folks in our county in the different areas where they have shine throughout the year, and it's always educational and informative to see how much agricultural based this county truly is. So if you are available this Thursday night, I encourage you to join us in Clinton. It's held at the Family Life Center at First Presbyterian Church in Clinton. So once again, that's this Thursday at 5 o'clock, 8 to 6. If there's nothing further from council, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Carroll, and a second by Mr. Rankin. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. Y'all have a good evening.
We have one.